Hello everyone, welcome back to the MCAT Biology series. Today, we're covering one of the highest yield chapters you'll see on the MCAT, Cellular Biology. We'll go over eukaryotic cells, the cell cycle, mitosis, meiosis, prokaryotics, bacteria, viruses. By the end of this video, you'll understand the key concepts instead of just memorizing them. Let's get started. Let's start with the basic unit of life, the eukaryotic cell. One way to remember eukaryotic cells is that they have a membrane-bound organelle. These organelles divide up different jobs inside the cell. The most important organelles for the MCAT are the nucleus and the mitochondria. The nucleus stores DNA and contains the nucleolus. It's also the site where DNA replication and transcription occur. Think of the nucleus as the cell's control center because it stores the genetic information. Next is the mitochondria, often called the powerhouse of the cell. Its main job is producing ATP through aerobic respiration. Mitochondria also contain their own DNA, called mitochondrial DNA, which supports the endosymbiotic theory. Another important structure is the cytoskeleton. The cytoskeleton gives the cell its shape and allows movement inside the cell. It consists of microfilaments, intermediate filaments, and microtubules. Together, these structures provide support and help move organelles throughout the cell. Finally, we have the cell membrane. The cell membrane is made of a phospholipid bilayer, which proteins embedded through it. These proteins help transport molecules and allow cells to communicate through signaling. One important concept for the MCAT is lipid rafts, specialized regions of the membrane involving signaling. Before a cell divides, it goes through a process called the cell cycle. The cell cycle has 4 major stages. The first is G1, where the cell grows and performs its normal functions. Next is S. The S stands for synthesis because it's where DNA is replicated. After the S phase is G2. Here, the cell continues growing and checks for DNA damage before division. Finally comes M phase, also called mitosis, where the cell actually divides. Remember this sequence: G1, S, G2, M. Now let's break down mitosis. Mitosis produces 2 genetically identical daughter cells. There are 4 phases and stages you need to know, and you can memorize it by using PMAT. Prophase, chromosomes condense. The nuclear membrane disappears. The meiotic spiral begins to form. Metaphase, chromosomes line up in the middle of the cell. Think M for middle. Anaphase, sister chromatids separate. They are pulled toward opposite ends of the cell. Think A for apart. And telophase, the nuclear membrane reforms. Chromosomes begin to relax. Finally, cytokinesis divides the cell into 2 separate daughter cells. Again, PMAT, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase. Now, unlike mitosis, meiosis creates reproductive cells like sperm and eggs. Instead of producing 2 identical cells, meiosis produces 4 genetically unique haploid cells. Meiosis occurs in 2 rounds. Meiosis 1, which is where homologous chromosomes separate. This is the reduction division because chromosomes number is cut in half. During prophase 1, these chromosomes pair together in structures called synapses. Here, they exchange DNA through crossing over, which is increasing their genetic diversity. This is one of the biggest concepts tested on the MCAT. Meiosis 2 looks very similar to mitosis. Sister chromosomes separate, producing 4 haploid daughter cells. Remember, mitosis equals 2 identical cells. Meiosis equals 4 unique cells. Now, let's compare prokaryotic cells. Unlike eukaryotics, prokaryotics have no membrane-bound organelles. They also lack a nucleus. Instead, their DNA is found in a region called the nucleoid. Their DNA is usually circular rather than linear. Most bacteria are prokaryotics. The MCAT loves asking about bacteria. There are 3 common bacterial shapes. Cocci are spherical. Bacilli are rod-shaped. Spirui are spiral-shaped. Bacteria can also be classified based on oxygen use. Obligate aerobes require oxygen. Obligate anaerobes cannot survive in oxygen. Facultative anaerobes can live with or without oxygen. Another important distinction is gram staining. Gram-positive bacteria stain purple, and they have a thick cell wall. Gram-negative stain pink and have a very thin wall that possess an outer membrane. Also, remember that bacterial ribosomes have 70S, while eukaryotic ribosomes have 80S. Now, bacteria can exchange genetic information in 3 ways: transformation, transduction, and conjugation. Transformation is the uptake of free DNA from the environment. Transduction is DNA transfer through bacteriophages, or viruses that infect bacteria. And lastly, conjugation, which DNA transfer through direct contact between 2 bacteria. Think of conjugation as the bacterial version of sharing genetic information directly. Now, let's move on to viruses. Viruses are different from cells because they are not considered living organisms by many scientists. A virus contains genetic material surrounded by a protein called a capsid. Viruses must infect host cells in order to reproduce. There are 2 viral life cycles. The Lytic cycle, the virus quickly hijacks the host cell and makes many copies of itself. Eventually, the cell bursts and releases new viruses. Think Lytic equals lyses the cell. Then there's a Lysogenic cycle. Instead of immediately killing the host, the viral DNA interrogates into the host genome. The virus can remain dormant for long periods before switching into the Lytic cycle. So, let's review today's high-yield concepts. We went over eukaryotic cell structure, cell cycle, mitosis, meiosis, prokaryotes, bacterial classification, gram-positive and negative, and the viral structures and life cycles. If you can explain all these concepts without looking at your notes, you're building an excellent foundation for the MCAT. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe, because in the next video, we'll be going over the Blueprint MCAT Biology book, Chapter 3.